just like a regular dream. When you wake up, it's all useless at the end. You're like, oh, the heck was that? And there's really nothing you can take from it. It's all empty at the end. Maybe you can get a little bit of internal meaning or something like that, but not very much. We don't really take much from our dreams. But this world is the same, actually. We're dreaming. Actually, every time you are in the mode of rajas, this is the state of dreaming, actually. Where sattva is the state of actually being conscious. Rajas is the state of dreaming, looking forward to the next thing. Just like, when you visualize the thing that you want, this is dreaming, actually. Even though you're supposedly awake, you're dreaming, daydreaming. And then at night, tamaguna is deep sleep, and we're just like, So all of these things, we're just oscillating in the gunas over and over again. But most people, in their waking state, they're not really conscious. They're mostly dreaming, looking forward to, visualizing, I'm going to get that job, or I'm going to get this thing, or I'm going to get that thing, and I'm going to get this. And visualizing, maybe not going to get, or, this is what I have to do to get to here, this is what I have to do, and just constant state of dreaming. But very few people are actually awake, like conscious. So it's Krishna consciousness. We have to first be conscious, and then we could be Krishna conscious. But we're working on this process of even understanding what's happening here. We go through life dreaming about the next form of sense pleasure, not even realizing that this has nothing to do with who we are, and it's only a dream. This idea of you, your body, and the pleasures of the body, and the ego of the body. I'm this person, of this family, of this nation, of this career, and like this. We put so many upadhis, designations. So this is the subject matter right now in the Bhagavatam, and it's helpful because we don't even know, at least if you know you're dreaming, you can start the process of waking up. But if you don't even know you're dreaming, you're just caught up in the dream. So we have to know we're dreaming. And until we know we're dreaming, there's no chance of us waking up. So we ended last time saying, Sri Shukadev Goswami said, formerly prior to the manifestation of the cosmos, Lord Brahma, by meditating on the Virat Rupa, regained his lost consciousness by appeasing the Lord. Thus, he was able to rebuild the creation as it was before. And now, today, we are going to talk more. I also want to revisit the last chapter, because at the end, that also was talking about our dreaming predicament here, because this is why we're coming to this point. It's 39. You guys can't see, right? No, okay. We said one should concentrate his mind upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who alone distributes himself in so many manifestations. Just as ordinary persons create thousands of manifestations in dreams, one must concentrate the mind on him, the only all blissful absolute truth. Otherwise, one will be misled and will cause his own degradation. So either we enter the dream of God and turn towards God, realize He's the dreamer here and life is but His dreams, or we make our own dreams, but our own dreams don't work out very good. So I don't recommend making your own dreams.
Vedas are true, right? We are hearing from Vedas and listening from Vedas, which means like Lord is Himself like saying all these things, right? like being in the conditioned state, or like how to really like believe that, or that realization comes that is true.
Yes. You can't on your own. Impossible.
It's like too much like you digest or something at this point.
Yes, it doesn't. It can't be realized on your own. Actually, you try, but the realization comes from a realized person, one who has escaped the dream, by the mercy of the Lord and by mercy of other vimuktas, liberated beings. They can become liberated. So that's the only way you become liberated. We can study all these things on our own, and we won't be able to achieve anything of a great value just on our own study. But the good news is that liberated souls, they're very merciful, and they always want to help the souls who are stuck dreaming, and they want to help wake them up. So they're also in the dream with them, and they say, no, please, understand what this is. Understand it's a dream. And they try to help them. But, on your own, you're not going to be able. But when you see how a liberated person lives, and how they're beyond the dream, and how joyous it is to be awake, actually, and not be in the anxiety of the dream, it becomes attractive, and it makes you want to also wake up. And so, yes, from the conditioned dreaming state, how can you realize you're in the dream? On your own you can't, actually. But you're not on your own. You have the blessings of Guru and Vaishnavas, and so by their blessings you can wake up. So that's my recommendation to you, is keep getting the blessings of advanced personalities, and you yourself will become awake in their association, because they're awake, and they're not going to let you sleep in their association. So this verse will kind of maybe help you. But before we begin, let's do our Mangala Charana. Maybe one of you can scroll and I can do mine. Shri obeisances unto Sri Guru without the blessing of the awakened soul. There's no awakening for us. So, any ability I have to maintain actually being awake in this life is purely due to the mercy of the awakened souls. So, my obeisance to them, and then to the whole, my Guru's Guru, and their Guru, going back thousands of years to Sri Krishna. I want to offer my love and deep honor and respect for them, and seek their mercy. And finally, I want to offer my respects to my spiritual brothers and sisters, you three here at Mantra Central, and then anyone who's listening online, and even all living entities, because everyone is actually a servant of God once they become awake. So it's just a matter of when that waking process will happen, just like it's just only a matter of time before you wake up from your dreams at night. It's only a matter of time all the living entities will wake up. But it's a matter of time. It may, and for the cosmic time of this process, it may take millions upon millions of lifetimes, and trillions upon trillions of years, this type of thing. But it's a matter of time for everyone. But your time is now, actually, or you would not be hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So your time is to start to awaken now. You're just at the tail end of the dream, and you're starting to realize, oh, I think I'm dreaming. Has that ever happened in the dream? You're dreaming, and then you're saying, wait a second, things aren't adding up here. I think I'm dreaming. And then very soon after you wake up. Once you realize you're dreaming, then very soon after, the consciousness pulls you awake. So just like that, now you're hearing Bhagavatam, and you're taking the Krishna consciousness as, oh, I've been living like a dream. What's been going on here? And now we're starting to wake up. We're almost at the end now. Only a few lifetimes left even, and it's still at the end of the dream. It might even be that you can become quite awakened at the end of this lifetime. It's possible. But it's not necessarily up to you, even though you can put your best effort, and Krishna will do the rest, and through the Vaishnava's mercy. So, so life is but a dream, and but just like dreams are illusions, this life and the things that you're imagining as your life, and you're imagining all kinds of ambitions for your life, are all but dreams. You can even practically just think about when you spend your time envisioning, what you want to do next, you're dreaming. I want to make a sandwich, right? Oh, I'm going to make a sandwich. You envision the sandwich first. You dream about the sandwich, and then you go and you take action about. Just think about what you actually do. How often are we actually consciously observing reality? Deep in meditation, like this. Even in our japa, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, but dreaming. We're dreaming in the japa. I know I'm doing it too. It's not just you guys. Oh, maybe I'm not chanting nicely. No, we're trying, but the modes of nature are very strong. This tendency to dream, it's Rajaguna actually, the want to create something in this world. This is all Rajaguna. But Rajaguna, it causes misery, and it's actually all a dream. And what we want to be is come to the point of at least Sattvaguna, to be awake to reality, and then from there, the Lord can reach us with the transcendental, with Nirguna, something beyond the modes of nature, something divine. So we must try to be awake. So
planning is also a dream.
Yes.
Plan something.
Yes, every time you plan something, you're dreaming. You're just dreaming something in the world. That's why Prabhupada, he says, all these great plan makers are so foolish. They're just making, that's exactly what you're doing when you're planning. You're just dreaming about the thing that you want to come to fruition. And it never usually goes according to your plan anyway, does it?
Without plan, we cannot execute any work.
Yes.
Even in Krishna consciousness, we need to plan something. We do this, so.
Yes. So, in Krishna consciousness, you might say, well, how do I do this? That's why you execute that which is empowered by Guru. And he let him make the plan, because it's coming from above the dream. If you make the plan in Krishna consciousness, and it's still your conditioned plan, it's actually all a dream still. So that's why bhakti is not, you're not the plan maker. You're following. Tishtan braje tadanuragi jananugami. You're following under the persons who have this divine love, and they're not dreaming actually. So you may say, well, I have to plan, but if it's your plan, it's all a dream. But if it's Guru's plan, the liberated soul's plan, it's different. They have a different vision. So you may even wonder, well, how do I know if they've achieved this thing? How can I realize that? Actually, you can't. From your position, you can't know actually. But what you can know is that what is the best qualities of one who's more advanced than I am. And so you find the person who has those qualities, and you try to serve to the best that you can. And over time, you may even realize, oh, this person also has these amazing qualities. So as long as you're finding a personality who has is more awake than you, you may not be able to perceive how awake they are, but you can perceive that they're more awake than I am. And so when you perceive that, you should try to serve them, and you should try to line up with their vision, because their vision is more awake than your vision. It's closer to wakefulness. So the bhakta doesn't make their own plans. This is karma yoga. You make your own plans and then you offer it to the Lord. The bhakta is, what is the plan of Guru and Krishna? Okay, I will support. And now your plans to support those plans, even though there may elements of dreaming is there, Raja and all this, but if the more that your heart is one with Guru, then your heart is one with something transcendental, or at least more awake than yours, than your own condition. So this is what you have to do. So yes, even when you make your plans, but how will you get anything done, right? Yes, well actually everything's already done in reality. There's nothing to be done, actually, you could say. That's why the jnani, but they know this, they stop doing karma. Because they know there's nothing to be done actually. It's all done already. But at the same time, bhakti yoga, we just don't stop doing things. Because actually what's to be done is activities and service between God and us. And that's Krishna actually likes those activities. But in order to come to that platform, you'll have to be transcendentally situated. At least come to the Shantaras, where the consciousness is fully on Krishna. So now those same activities and those same things, under the blessings of Guru and Krishna, they not only are very easily liberate you, but then they give so much divine pleasure, and it's fully awake. It's fully, it's not under the gunas anymore. It's not under the rajas. It's not under a dream. It's reality at this point. But, whether we get a taste of reality, no, not much yet. We don't get much taste. So try not to make your own plans, because your plans are guaranteed dreaming. But if you follow the plans of the enlightened souls, they're not dreaming. They're awake, and they're actually experiencing reality. So their plans are good. And what can I do to fulfill their plans? And so, in the strength of their divine consciousness and plans, you'll see it'll always come to success. When a pure devotee asks for something, you don't know how it's it always somehow works out. It's like, because they have a higher vision, they just have higher something, and actually Krishna reciprocates with them. He fulfills all the desires of the pure devotee. So if the pure devotee desires something, it happens. Even us, you may see in your own life. You may have some devotional desire that's pure. That's not motivated, self-interested. You just have like some actual pure devotional desire, and you just see how easily Krishna. I saw it with the coming of these deities. I was worshipping them, and I was feeling bad that we never did pran pratishta. I never actually. I'm worshipping deities every day, and there's not actually any deities that have the blessings of a sadhu here, and Krishna was properly invited into the deity form. I'm worshipping, it's empty, I feel like a fake, I feel like a false, I feel like I'm nonsense. And I have everyone here worshipping these deities with me and chanting to these deities every day. And I was feeling like very sad, actually. Hypocritical, all these things. And so then it's a pretty pure desire. I wish was more authentic to you, Krishna. And then the next day, Anuradha reaches out to my wife about wanting to give the deities. How could that happen? Because actually the pure desire was there, actually. Some pure desire to serve. So in that way, it's not, that's how you'll not dream. Why? Because our gurus have told us, our acharyas have told us how to worship the deities. The Bhagavatam has told us, everyone has told us how to worship the deities. So as soon as I lined up my desires with their desires, it's no longer a dream anymore. And Krishna's told, this can easily come. This can easily come to manifest. So, it's like this. We have to realize we're dreaming. So, my obeisances to all of you fellows who are trying to wake up. We're all waking up together. Panchakalpatarubhyashta kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanang pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So, you don't want, okay.
So, we know, like, let's say, Guru Maharaj says that take care of duties nicely, do chanting, and he gives a set of instructions.
Yes.
But to execute that, there has to be a lot of micro planning. Like, example, Sunday feast.
Yes.
It's a program that it typically everywhere is followed.
Yes.
But to make that to happen, we need to see what all are there, what to cook, how to happen. So that, so whatever plans that we make to facilitate, to fulfill the instructions of a pure devotee, is that still in the
No,
state?
that's pure.
Yeah.
That's bhakti.
So
if your intention is to serve their intention, because their intention is pure, then you, by association, your intention becomes pure. But if your intention is some other plan, that plan is a dream, and then it's useless, it's fruitless, it gives nothing. So don't make your own plans. You have to find the transcendental personality and follow their plan, because their plan is pure. Or at least try to follow the plan. Maybe you can't. I don't know who a transcendental personality is. That's why Arjuna is. How do they walk? How do they sit? How do they do? Like this, because it's not easy to recognize. But what you can do is you can find somebody that at least I know they have more than I have. And then, you follow their plan. So this is, this is how we can get to bhakti. And then over time, the realizations can come. We'll be able to realize the transcendental nature of personalities and pure devotees or pure devotees and like this. But it's actually like a mystic city to be able to recognize who's pure. It's an actual, superpower. But you can be granted the superpower by the blessings of those personalities and also by Krishna. So anyway, yes, don't worry. When you're fulfilling the order of a pure devotee and you're planning to help serve them because the intention is that, this is good. This is awake. But if you're making plans otherwise, which we have to really in our mind, you just evaluate your life. We're making so many plans. All we do is planning. This is all dreams unless we plan, I want to serve Hari Guru and Vaishnava. This is my plan. Unless that's the full plan all the time, then you're not awake, you're dreaming. So it's, that's still a lot, because just look at our life with so many plans. I plan for lunch, I want to eat this, I want to do this, I plan here, I want to do this, right? But to be awake is, I plan, what does Gurudev want? Like that. What do the Vaishnavas want? What does Krishna want? What did Gurudev tell me? What am I supposed to do? And so on. Well, anyway, let's see what Krishna says in Bhagavatam. Gurudev wants us to read Bhagavatam. Every Guru is saying. So, Shabdasya hi brahmana esha panta yan nama birdhyayati dirda parthaye Paribramang tatra na vindatirthan Maya maye vasanaya shayanaha Shabdasya, of the Vedic sound, he, certainly, Brahmana, of the Vedas, Esha, these, Pantha, the way, Yat, what is, Namabhi, by different names, Dhyayati, ponders, Di, intelligence, Aparthai, by meaningless ideas, Paribrahman, wandering, Tatra, there, Na, never, Vindate, enjoys, Artham, realities, Maya maye, in illusory things, Vasanaya, by different desires, Shayanaha, as if dreaming in sleep. The way of presentation of the Vedic sounds is so bewildering that it directs the intelligence of the people to meaningless things, like the heavenly kingdoms. So that's, you were kind of saying, well, how can I understand the Vedas, like this? Actually, by hearing the Vedas, all of the Indian culture is hearing the Vedas, but they all have so many different ideas about what's important because of this. The conditioned souls hover in dreams of such heavenly illusory pleasures, but actually they do not relish any tangible happiness in such places. This is practically all of Hinduism. This is what they're getting. They're hearing the Vedic sounds, but it's directing, they're hearing what they want to hear out of the Vedas, so the Vedas are so vast, and it's directing them to different heavenly illusory pleasures, which they don't get to relish any tangible happiness in. So this is like pretty much a verse just describing Hinduism as a whole, really. So purport. The conditioned soul is always engaged in laying out plans for happiness. This is for you, Parth. Within the material world, even up to the end of the universal limit. He is not even satisfied with available amenities on this planet Earth, where he has exploited the resources of nature to the best of his ability. He wants to go to the moon or the planet Venus to exploit resources there. Now it's Mars. They want to go to Mars. But anyway, but the Lord has warned us in Bhagavad Gita 8:16 about the worthlessness of all the innumerable planets of this universe, as well as those planets within other systems. There are innumerable universes and also innumerable planets in each of them, but none of them is immune to the chief miseries of material existence, namely the pangs of birth, the pangs of death, the pangs of old age, and the pangs of disease. The Lord says that even the topmost planet, known as Brahmaloka or Satyaloka, and what to speak of other planets like heavenly planets, is not a happy land for residential purposes, due to the presence of material pangs, as above mentioned. Conditioned souls are strictly under the laws of fruitive activities, and as such they sometimes go up to Brahmaloka and again come down to Patalaloka, as if they were unintelligent children on a merry-go-round. The real happiness is in the kingdom of God, where no one has to undergo the pangs of material existence. Therefore the Vedic ways of fruitive activities for the living entities are misleading. So even practicing Dharma if your goal of dharma is only to get artha, then it's all useless. So until you get to the paramartha, the supreme wealth, which is past liberation and beyond, then everything is, even though all the Vedas are completely misleading. One thinks of a superior way of life in this country or that, or on this planet or another, but nowhere in the material world can he fulfill his real desire of life, namely eternal life, full intelligence, and complete bliss. Isn't that so? Right now, Tanu, you're about to go, and you're thinking, oh yes, now this is a better situation. Who said, actually? Maybe, Dipti, you came here, and actually we told you this is a much better situation. But it's not a better situation because Syracuse is nicer, because your living facility here will be nicer, your food arrangement here will be nicer. Yeah, the food arrangement's it is nicer because it's all offered to the Lord, but actually because the process of bhakti is practiced here, so it's more fortunate. So we should understand, not that, we get to progress in dharma, we get our job, it's not actually nicer. What's actually nicer is we're closer to bhakti. So you guys actually will have to work harder now for bhakti in where you're going. So it still can work. You go, you have to maintain your life. You cannot practice bhakti if your life isn't maintained. So that's why you're going and working. But you have to. This will be the actual fruit. But it cannot be whimsical. It must be under the guidance of a divine personality. So if you don't have one of those, a guru, we will help you. We'll help you, from wisdom from our gurus, but also to help you connect to gurus. So that's our goal to help you guys. So don't worry. But the real happiness is in the kingdom of God, where no one has to undergo the pangs of material existence. Therefore, the Vedic way as a fruit of activities for the living entities are misleading. One thinks of a superior way of life in this country or that, or on this planet or another, but nowhere in the material world can he fulfill his real desire of life, namely eternal life, full intelligence, and complete bliss. That's what we're all looking for. We want there to be some eternal situation, we want to be fully situated in knowledge, and we want to be completely blissful. But everywhere we look in the material world, it's never like that. Why? Because this is not a place of the real desire of life can be fulfilled. So, indirectly, Srila Shukadeva Goswami affirms that Maharaj Parikshit, in the last stage of life, should not desire to transfer himself to the so-called heavenly planets, but should prepare himself for going back home, back to Godhead. None of the material planets, nor the amenities available there for living conditions, is everlasting. Therefore, one must have a factual reluctance to enjoy such temporary happiness as they afford. So Shukadeva Goswami is bracing Maharaj Parikshit for this final and directing him, this is your destination. We're not trying to go to get a better situation here, a better situation there in the material world. All these material ideas and material plans, they're useless. Go to the place of eternal life, full intelligence, and complete bliss. Go back to the Lord, turn your consciousness to the Lord, because it's only there that your real self-interest will be fulfilled, satisfied. So, and that's done through the Lord's VIP people who are granting access to the backstage pass back to Godhead, and they're saying, come on, all right, you know me, I can get you in, come on. And so you go with them, because they'll get you in. So, this verse is perfect. It'll tell you exactly what to do. Ata kavir nama suyavadartaha syada pramato vyavasaya buddhi siddhen yatharte nayate tatra parishramang tatra samikshamanaha. Ata, for this reason, Kavi, the enlightened person, Namasu, in names only, Yavat, minimum, Artha, necessity, Syat, must be, apramata, without being mad after them. Vyavasaya buddhi, intelligently fixed. Siddhe, for success. Anyatha, otherwise. Arthe, in the interest of. Na, should never. Yateta, endeavor for. Tatra, there. Parishramam, laboring hard. Tatra, there. Samikshamanaha, one who sees practically. That word you've seen in other famous verses. Tatenu kampam susamikshamano. Like this. So, translation. For this reason, the enlightened person should endeavor only for the minimum necessities of life while in the world of names. He should be intelligently fixed and never endeavor for unwanted things, being competent to perceive practically that all such endeavors are merely hard labor for nothing. So, we should only endeavor for what? You can read. The minimum, the bare minimum that you need for life. You're alive? Good. Like Deepthi was the other day, she saw, I don't think I'm making progress. I'm going to work, and I don't feel any progress when I'm out going to work every day. I'm like, well, does that work allow you to, come and pay your rent and live here and have your bare necessities for life? She said yes. I said, well, then it's good. This is what we should make endeavors and work for. Do I have my bare minimums? Okay, I'm covered. I can pay all the bills. The government will not take me away. They'll not take the facility away. Okay, good enough. That's it. That's all we have to do, actually. But you should be then intelligently fixed, never endeavoring for unwanted things. So that's why, the first rule is what destroys bhakti. Atyahara, over-consuming. And then what do you do when you're an over-consumer? Prayasas, over-endeavoring. Because if I over-consume, then I have to endeavor for all the other things I want to consume. Like so much knowledge, I'm going to study the ins and outs of this thing, that thing, and the other thing in the material world and all these things. But if you have your bare necessities of life, you're perfect. That's perfect. Everything else are merely hard labor for nothing. No one wants to do hard labor for nothing. Like if you work for a job, and actually a lot of you, it's really unfortunate, but because you're coming as immigrants to this country, they force you to do a lot of hard labor for nothing a lot of times. So that's, part of the program. But it's not for nothing because you get some opportunity later on. But it's really puts you through so many hoops to jump through. And at the end, like even Divyanshu, he just got his job now. He's working. His salary. This is a big step for him. But it was finished in February. He made so many other endeavors between February and now, but the job was finished in February. That was there. But everything else, you could say hard labor for nothing. But not because he's here amongst devotees. And so all his devotional endeavors were not nothing. But the world is like that, though. Everything you do that's beyond the bare minimum necessities of life, all hard labor for nothing. So we should always realize. Purport: the Bhagavad Dharma, or the cult of Srimad Bhagavatam. No, cult is not really a widely accepted word now, but it's a religious system. But now it has negative connotations and things. But the religious system, or the cult of Srimad Bhagavatam, is perfectly distinct from the way of fruitive activities, which are considered by the devotees to be merely a waste of time. The whole universe, or for that matter, all material existence, is moving on as Jagat, simply for planning business to make one's position very comfortable or secure. Although everyone sees that this existence is neither comfortable nor secure, and can never become comfortable or secure at any stage of development, those who are captivated by the illusory advancement of material civilization, following the way of phantasmagoria, are certainly madmen. The whole material creation is a jugglery of names only. In fact, it is nothing but a bewildering creation of matter, like earth, water, and fire. the buildings, furniture, cars, bungalows, mills, factories, industries, peace, war, or even the highest perfection of material science, namely atomic energy and electronics, are all simply bewildering names of material elements with their concomitant reactions of the three modes. So since the devotee of the Lord knows them perfectly well, he is not interested in creating unwanted things for a situation which is not at all reality, but simply names of no more significance than the babble of sea waves. No, we don't give much thought to, oh, the sea wave has come. All the little waves. You don't try to capture it and harness it, or things like that. Maybe some people try to use waves as energy. You can transfer energy like this, but ultimately, there's so many of them, and they're so constant, and they just come and they go. But that's what this whole material world is like. The babble of sea waves, not any more significant. Your job, your life, your family, your children, all of the money you make, all of your endeavors in this world, without the blessings of the liberated souls, all just babble of sea waves, just a useless waste of time. Isn't it? The Bhagavatam's heavy, is it not? Yes. Everything that you, your family, and everyone you know and love has ever done is a waste of time. But yes, it's true, actually. It's true. So once you know that, it's freeing. How freeing? Wow. I've been wasting my time. I don't have to waste my time anymore. It's so freeing. It's amazing, actually. You don't have to waste your time. Just get your bare necessities done. Find a transcendental personality. Serve them with all your heart. And everything's perfect. It's easy, actually. Instead of, I'll make this plan, and I'll achieve this, and I'll achieve that, and not achieving any of it, and you're wasting your time. And even if you do achieve it, so what? It all disappears anyway. The great kings, leaders, and soldiers fight with one another in order to perpetuate their names in history. Like right now, I see there's a bunch of people, they're crying because the World Cup, they're losing. People keep losing, and now they're down in the quarterfinals. All of the North America is hosting. The Americas are hosting this World Cup, and all of them have lost by now. So now I saw on the Facebook this morning, they're all crying. This player is crying, and this player is crying. They're all just wasting their time, But they're fighting with one another in order to perpetuate their names in history. We'll be the best. Who cares, even if you are the best? No one even remembers. I don't even know who won the World Cup two World Cups ago. No one cares. But people, they're putting all their time, their effort into these things. They are forgotten in due course of time, and they make a place for another era in history. But the devotee realizes how much history and historical persons are useless products of flickering time. I'm noticing even now, I watch, I used to care about baseball a lot. Players, stats, who's doing this and that. But now I see, I've been so detached from sports for so long, and it was such a big part of my childhood. Now, these personalities who I don't even know at all have, some big established career. And I see, all the personalities I knew, they're all gone. No one cares about them anymore. And they're talking about these personalities, and they're these are the big established personalities that people know now in the sports world. And I'm like, wow, I don't even know who this person is. But he's has the most successful career in the league, But I'm how detached? Why? Because that's exactly. Everything just gets forgotten in the eras of time. So no one will care what you so-called do, what your family has done, how much money you made. No one will care. It's useless, actually. But if you use your life in bhakti, it's not. So that's what Shukadeva Goswami is going to. You have 7 days to live. Focus on this. So we all have only 7 days to live. Maybe not exactly 7 days, but something similar. In the span of time, it's very similar. So use your time this way. But the devotee realizes how much history and historical persons are useless products of flickering time. The fruitive worker aspires after a big fortune in the matter of wealth, woman or man, and worldly adoration. But those who are fixed in perfect reality are not at all interested in such false things. For them it is all a waste of time. Since every second of human life is important, an enlightened man should be very careful to utilize time very cautiously. Tornam yateta napated anamritya. You should immediately, once you get this human, you should immediately endeavor for Nishrayasaya. Sense gratification, those other things, and it can be achieved in any species of life. It's all a waste of time. So, since every second of human life is important, an enlightened man should be very careful to utilize time very cautiously. 1 second of human life wasted in the vain research of planning for happiness in the material world can never be replaced, even if one spends millions of coins of gold. So what's your most valuable thing is your time. Actually, even the employers know this. They pay you by the hour, by time. Or they give you a salary, they pay you by the year. Like this. But we should not be trading our time for coins. There's nothing more valuable than your time. So, what do? You have to get some coins. But what are you getting the coins for? It was in this verse. The bare minimum. You get your coins, so I'm alive, I can pay my bills, me and my family, my dependents, we're alive. Good enough. Now, I use the rest of my time, I will trade no more time for coins, I'll use the rest of my time for the highest goal of life. Serving Hari, Guru, and Vaishnava. That's it. And it's finished. So, and you're right now, just by hearing this message, you're doing it. That's why every day we tell people, come on, please, just gather. I don't care what you do the rest of the day. Just for this time, just do this with us. Even everyone in Syracuse should know that this is their best interest. We have so many people in the community, but maybe they'll come once a week or something like that. Because these realizations haven't come yet. But those who are fortunate enough to realize, they won't waste a single second anymore making some plans. So therefore, the transcendentalist desiring freedom from the clutches of Maya or the illusory activities of life is warned herewith not to be captivated by the external features of fruitive actors. Human life is never meant for sense gratification, but for self-realization. Srimad Bhagavatam instructs us solely on this subject from the very beginning to the end. Human life is simply meant for self-realization. The civilization which aims at this utmost perfection never indulges in creating unwanted things, and such a perfect civilization prepares men only to accept the bare necessities of life, or to follow the principle of the best use of a bad bargain. Like this world, it sucks, but it does. It's not pleasant at all. It's just filled with suffering and all kinds of hard labors you're going to have to do, and stress and anxiety. But use the best, get your bare minimum done. You make the best of a bad bargain. Nobody wants to go to work 40 hours a week. Nobody, practically nobody, but you have to survive. So make the best use of your bad bargain, and then use everything you can in self-realization. That's it. Meaning you have to follow the instructions of self-realized souls. Then you will become self-realized. And that's all you need to do in this life. You don't need to achieve anything. You don't need to make a certain amount of money. You don't have to give this for mommy and daddy. You don't have to give this for baby and mommy and everything. No, we become self-realized and help give the opportunity to others to be self-realized. Be charitable in this way. You don't need to be charitable of giving great wealth, but you should be charitable in giving great knowledge. And if you're not so qualified to teach so many people, then at least be charitable and help support the people who will do it. Like Guru. Like this. So anyhow, human life is intended for the realization of this important factor, and one should act accordingly, accepting only the bare necessities of life, and depending more on God's gift without diversion of human energy for any other purpose, such as being mad for material enjoyment. The materialistic advancement of civilization is called the civilization of the demons. which ultimately ends in wars and scarcity. The transcendentalist is specifically warned herewith to be fixed in mind, so that even if there is difficulty in plain living and high thinking, he will not budge even an inch from his stark determination. For a transcendentalist, it is a suicidal policy to be intimately in touch with the sense gratifiers of the world. This is how important it is for association. Because such a policy will frustrate the ultimate gain of life. It's suicidal. You'll ruin your life. Just being in touch. That's why it's very important also that, even you have to be careful, really careful with family. Especially family, actually. Your relatives, if they have the heart of sense gratification, which 99.99% of people do, it's suicidal to be intimately in touch with them. It's suicidal, actually. You'll ruin your spiritual life. Because you're a product of your environment, and if you're experiencing them sense gratifying, it will become, you'll fall into the illusion. So you associate with devotees, sadhu sangha. They'll protect you, and then you can go and help your relatives anyway. You love them, you can help them. I see you guys have met my family here a few times. I'm maybe due for another invite them up here, something like that. But not to be intimately in their, aspirations. They have so many. I mean, a lot of you guys I know, especially the Indian culture, the desire to please the parents is so strong, and it's actually so good. It's dharmic, but if it's not colored by this, and if they're not situated in the paramartha or the supreme wealth of the Vedas, then it'll be limited, and it will actually bear no fruit for you or for them. If you actually want to bear fruit for them, encourage them in understanding this aspect of their culture. Encourage them. Don't abandon them, but encourage them. But any other relation with them, like I know you guys are on the phone with your relatives so much. Any other thing other than this subject matter is a waste of time, actually. And your time is really valuable. There's nothing more valuable than your time. Don't let anybody take your time. Don't let even a single moment be taken from you. That's not directed in this way. Yes, the bare minimums are there. You have to. You have to maybe work a certain amount of hours a week. And maybe you even, just not to disturb your life. Like even my wife and I, if I don't give her a certain amount of duties to appease her, then I'll waste my time in arguing. So better just do this and that and the other. And I've seen, because my time I feel no, I'm not doing, and then she's protesting, and then we fight, and then we waste the time anyway. So don't waste your time in anything. Just do your basic duties so that you can keep going in this, because this is actually the main thing you have to do in life. So just be a great capitalist for your time. Not for wealth, for your time. How can I get the most time for self-realization? That's what the human life is for. So you want to be like a great capitalist? Okay, how much time can you store for self-realization today? This is your real wealth. So the devotee is always like this. So the civilization of demons ultimately ends in wars and scarcity. The transcendentalist is specifically warned herewith to be fixed in mind, so that even if there is difficulty in plain living and high thinking, he will not budge even an inch from his stark determination. For a transcendentalist, it is a suicidal policy to be intimately in touch with the sense gratifiers of the world, because such a policy will frustrate the ultimate gain of life. Shukadeva Goswami met Maharaj Parikshit, and the main thing is they'll just waste your time. They'll always be, come on, let's go to the cinema. Come on, we got to go here. We got to do this, the museum, this, that, and the other. And you're just like, no, my time. That's your most valuable thing. Shukadeva Goswami met Maharaj Parikshit when the latter felt a necessity for such a meeting. It is the duty of a transcendentalist to help persons who desire real salvation and to support the cause of salvation. One might note that Shukadeva Goswami never met Maharaj Parikshit while he was ruling as a great king. For a transcendentalist, the mode of activities is explained in the next shloka. And that will be on Thursday morning. So, don't waste your time. It's the most valuable thing you have, this human birth. You just collect your bare minimums and then endeavor for self-realization. And don't do it alone. Don't do it on your own whims and own plans. That's part of the dream. You have to get guidance on what to focus on. I can at least give you this guidance. Use your time that you have to, some time for the benefit of the temple, so that we, even spending some time to reaching out to friends or others, bring them here. Let them come and also benefit, because this is how we'll also benefit. If there's no temple, even right now our community is shrinking because people are leaving and transitioning in life. If the community shrinks, like we saw on Sunday, it was a very small, shrunken program. And less enthusiasm is there. And if it continues like that, it will be very difficult to inspire people to come. So we must reach out, bring people in, and rebuild the enthusiasm and all these things. So spend some time doing these things. Spend some time in, hearing the message of Srimad Bhagavatam, like in the class. Spend some time chanting, your time chanting. Spend some time acquiring your bare minimums. Everyone has material duties you have to do just for the bare minimums. I have to get to the car fixed on Thursday. I have to do these things, that things, the other things. Make sure the taxes are all in order. Yeah, do those things. But then, whatever time you have left, chanting, reading, trying to serve Vaishnavas, and then you'll be successful. And in this, this place, you should find, you should find a guru. You must. Because they'll direct you they'll see exactly where you are and how to exactly direct you and how you should exactly use your time. So until that happens, at least take instruction from senior devotees, but you must find a guru. That's the necessary thing, and they will maximize your time. Your time is not to be wasted at all. If mom wants to call, okay, bare minimum. Okay, mom, hello, Hare Krishna. And maybe you even talk about some spiritual thing with mom, but once she doesn't want to talk about spiritual thing anymore, because she probably won't want to talk about spiritual thing the whole time. Okay, mommy, I gotta go. Hare Krishna. Like this. And but don't waste your time. And don't let others waste your time either. If a significant other, we want to talk, can we talk about something good, transcendental? But if the topics want to go to other things, I gotta, move on, keep moving, don't let anyone, even children, yes, you have to give them basic play and love and all these things, but don't get all absorbed, all encompassed in this, because your time is valuable. Don't waste it. You get it? I know it seems insensitive. Oh my gosh, how could you not love children? How could you do love children? But the bare minimum that they need for their self worth, and children are not that difficult as long as they're not crying, then it's okay. But if then they're crying, then there's a problem. So as long as they're not crying, it's good. As long as your wife or husband is not crying, then it is good. And then use your time. Like this. As long as your parents are not crying, then it is good. As soon as people start crying, then okay, I'll give you the time. How can we? Let's do this. And then once everyone's pacified, then you go back. Focused. Be a greedy capitalist for your time. Not for laziness, for self-realization. So I wish you all to be great capitalists for your time. I know, the reason that people, they don't practice bhakti is because they feel they don't have enough time. But be greedy for your time. Take your time. Whatever you can to practice bhakti. And then if you become very greedy and you become very expert in making more time, and Krishna will also reciprocate. And you'll see other opportunities to get more time. And so then at some point, you might have a life where you've accumulated so much time for bhakti and you've delegated everything else other places that you can just be very absorbed. But Also, it all has to be done under the blessings and guidance of these great, great capitalists of their time in bhakti, the spiritual masters. So, good luck. Hare Krishna. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.